Welcome. Today we're going to talk about my favorite fiction of 2021 so far. I don't talk a ton about fiction books, but I have been asked more than once to start doing that. So this was a good week to start. So before we get going, a couple ways to support the channel. You can take one of my courses on Skillshare. You can find the links to those directly below. You might be interested in my Getting Started with Zettelkasten course, which is going to talk about how I do book notes. Other than that, like, subscribe, all those things. But let's dig into my favorite fiction of 2021 so far. All right, so let's start with Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, which honestly was absolutely hilarious. Probably my favorite part of this, the part that will make you think or get an idea of it, is when they find this old guy with a rabbit head on pooping in the toilet. It centers around an apartment open house and someone who kind of tries to rob a bank, and then just this. It's hilarious, and how the whole community rallies around one person, and it was so funny. It was great. It was great. If the thought of like an 80-year-old man pooping on a toilet is a good thing, is something that's funny, that you might enjoy reading about how that actually happens. There you go. This is a good book. Next up, Stand Still, Stay Silent, which is a webcomic. So you can actually read all of these for free on the web if you want, but you can also, they just kind of finished their Kickstarter a while ago, get these gorgeous, these are hardcover tomes, they call them, with it actually written out. So now the comic is currently past Tome 3, Stand Still, Stay Silent, Tome 3, but you just get like gorgeous art in here. You find like a really good page. Here's a good one. Yeah, gorgeous art. It's kind of after the world has, had a virus come through. Kind of poignant at this point, and it's in like where is it? Like Sweden area. So that's where all the characters are from, different countries out there. And the art is just gorgeous. Really good series. After reading it, in the books recently, and then going back to reading it, every one or two panels a week, 1 or 2 pages a week online, I really actually miss getting to just read and flip through the whole thing. So I will buy book Tome 4 when it comes out as well. Next up, Pathfinder Trilogy. I do enjoy Orson Scott Card. I've read lots of his books, and the Pathfinder Trilogy is the most recent one that I've finished. It follows Rig Sekemekis, and his sister and one of his friends actually, and takes Rig from like a backcountry woods boy who's been trained by who he thought was his father, into traveling backwards and forwards in time and space, duplicating himself, fighting aliens that destroy the planet of Garden and destroy the planet of Earth, and figuring all that out. And there's just a lot of stuff in the middle too. Really good book. I've listened to Pathfinder a bunch of times, the first book in the series, and I hadn't listened to the other ones until just this summer. And they are excellent. Excellent, excellent. Next up, Salvation Sequence. It's a 3-book series thus far. By Peter F. Hamilton, who is, compared to some writers I really follow right now, a slow writer, right? You think of Rick Brown, and he writes so fast. He writes like 3-4 books a year, and good books. But Peter F. Hamilton just takes a while. So Salvation novel, again, this is like a humans dealing with aliens series, which I enjoy. Really well written. Good twists at the end, especially of the first book, and like I find myself very much involved. Just sort of a time hopping back and forth idea, where they're like telling you some of the backstory while they're telling you some of what is the future or current story. So finally, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I've actually read his children's books as well. He's got like A Boy Called Christmas, I think. So basically how Santa Claus started, and a bunch of other great books like that. But The Midnight Library is an interesting one. Idea where you die and you're in like a holding space, and for this person it's a library, and they get an opportunity to like pull different books off the shelf while they're not dead, and try out new lives. Like what if they made a different decision? What if they were popular? What if they weren't popular? What if they, like, everything that happened? They really get to try it out. And it was an intriguing concept. It was actually really good. I picked it up on Kindle because I couldn't find it locally, and then I found it locally like the day I finished it on Kindle, and I bought a copy of it as well. So I've not read my physical handheld copy, but it is a great, great book. And that's the fiction that's really stuck out to me so far. You'll find links to all that below in the description. So yeah, grab those if you're interested. If you've seen some interesting fiction that you thought was good, please let me know in the comments. I would always love more books to read, despite my stacks of books around that I haven't read yet. Always like more books to read. That's it. If you like the video, thumbs up below, subscribe, hit the bell. Otherwise, you can take some of my courses to support the channel. Find links to those directly below. We stream Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific, which is 2200 Japanese Standard Time. And there's also a Discord if you want to talk about books, talk about whatever. Have an excellent day.